Thank you very much for your comments. Your comments are very encouraging. I would like this to be as interactive as possible. So there's a guy who asked me if I assist men. Yes, I do. But unfortunately, I don't have as many Kenyan men coming for my help as much as I do foreign men. And when I say foreign men is men from other, African countries, men from the West, Europe, the US. Um, if anything, I've had a lot of good response from men from Zimbabwe, Botswana, South Africa. Oh yeah, South Africa. How can I forget South Africa? South African men, and mainly because there's no ego. Even funny enough, West African men, Ghanaians, Nigerians, they see the value of what you've done, or rather, what I've done for the last 23 years, and they're like, you know what? This is where I'm at. I can get here, and people don't come to me because they are in trouble. They come to me because they want to advance their knowledge. And once you advance your knowledge, it means that if you're a man and you are heterosexual and you're into the vagina, then you understand the vagina science. So you graduate from the man who says, I'm good in bed, because those tend to be boys. If you want to be a Masimba, if you want to be a sexual alpha, then you need to remove the words, I am good in bed, from your vocabulary. And what you need to be using is, I understand the vulva because I understand the science behind the vulva. And that's where vagina conditioning comes in. And that's why to date, I have now conditioned 6,646 vaginas as of yesterday. So that's a lot, but it's not a lot if you look at 23 years. So if you break it down, sometimes it's a group, sometimes it's individual, especially individuals. And I do have virtual sessions and I have in-person sessions. I just had a client who came all the way from Rwanda. So Rwanda, cheers. She's now back there. She's very, very happy. Before her, I had a client who came from Ethiopia, and before that, a client who came from Europe, to be specific. She came from Germany. So yeah, I've been doing this for a very long time. I'm good at what I do. My sessions are practicals because theory will get you nowhere. I need you to understand what your nether areas are made of. There's soft tissue, there's nerve endings, there's your vein system that supplies enough adequate blood. All those functions require a certain process. And by the time a woman's getting something called the orgasm, there are spasms. They're like mini earthquakes happening within their vulva muscle. And it's a muscle, hence why I said it's tissue. And once you understand how it works, then you understand that the G-spot membrane has to start having spasms and start inflating like a balloon for a woman to ultimately be able to have an orgasm. So it's not by chance, it's not by the fact that we love each other because we're romantic. The vagina will never understand that you guys were having lobster or seafood or beef and steak, and it just won't. What it does understand is stimulus. So if you train it to accept the delivery of stimulus, then you are training it to be able to own your ability to orgasm. And then the graduation from that is, once you have those spasms, which cause your G-spot membrane to start swelling, then you're going to have an orgasm that causes you to get to a point where your urethra opens up and you're able to squirt. People usually ask me, because the urethra is involved, isn't that pee? Well, a man's shaft, girth, has a urethra within it. And that urethra ejaculates two substances, urine and semen. Oh, sorry. So a woman's urethra removes two substances, urine, and when she's aroused, there are ducts within the bladder that fill the bladder with water, and that's the water she ejaculates. It has no ammonia whatsoever. Hence why in a previous video I said that I've drank a lot of it. Unless I had a fetish for ammonia, then I would. But and we're not talking about people who love golden showers. That's a totally different fetish and stuff. So When you start to own your ability to orgasm, it becomes much better for the man and especially for the woman. Because I'm a believer, I'm a Masimba, so I'm a believer that every woman, regardless of size, I was talking to this woman, she told me that she's looking for a man and she's from Uganda. She's looking for maybe even a Kenyan guy. But she happened to mention I'm plus size. And I told her, look, there are men out there, there are women out there, because we're not just talking about heterosexuals, that have a preference. So there are men who love plus size women, and I've had a lot of plus size women who are my clients. Beautiful souls, amazing bodies in terms of even their vulva structure, and some of them, when they do squirt, they get to the point where they're gushing, like real crazy gushing. Like I remember earlier this year, there was a plus size woman who thought for her, sex was never going to happen the way she thought it should be. And now she's a gusher. Now she's like, tapped from source. Why? Because I conditioned her vagina to the point where she owns that ability. So, whoever she engages with is now enjoying the fruits of the fact that, her vajayjay has been converted into a Ferrari. Hopefully she doesn't give the Ferrari to somebody who can't handle Ferraris, if you know what I'm saying. And to the men, please, reach out, make comments. I am a believer of debate. I'm a believer of learning from one another, because if it wasn't for you guys, I'd be talking to myself right now. But I know there's a whole family out there. There's a whole network of people. And my message, will land into, the right group of people. And it's not for everyone. Not everyone is into what I talk about, and that is fine. I mean, I can't expect everyone to engage or subscribe to what I teach. It would be, irresponsible of me, because that's not the way the world works. But for those of you who are interested in upgrading your sexuality to a point where you're thinking, wow, this is like, I was here and now I'm up here, or even further. Because I've seen people who came to me who did not really believe in themselves, and today, wow, things have really changed for them. So please reach out. Men, Vitalift is going to lift things for you. It's going to cause your girth to fill with a lot of blood, which means you're going to be able to have a very solid erection, as all men would. So go to my bio. You will find a very secure link where you can order, and they also do deliver. If you happen not to be in Kenya, maybe you can inquire how we can get it to you, because nowadays there are services that can courier to different countries. The only country that we may have an issue with is South Africa, because of their regulations with the customs and stuff. But many African countries are pretty easygoing. So it's about just which courier you're using. Some couriers will take 48 hours. Some may take a week. It depends on how deep is your pocket and stuff. But please go to the link. It's on my bio. Vitalift. It's made of natural ingredients. Trust me, this works, because guys have really gotten back to me to tell me, whoa, this stuff is amazing. No side effects other than the side effect that you want with your girth. You feel me? So just make sure you get in touch. If you'd like to have a session with me, whether it's in person or virtual, get in touch as well. You can get me, just inbox me. I will respond. I don't ignore. Sometimes I get busy. I may go to other sessions and stuff like that. But at some point, I do settle down and have a look at my inbox on TikTok and see who's responded. Like today, I did have a request for a session that we will have sometime next week. So that is brilliant. So reach out, please. I'll appreciate. And men, just like the women, make comments. Let's be interactive. Ask me questions. I will do videos to answer them. That is why I'm here. I am here to interact with you. Like I said, if it wasn't for you, I'll be talking to myself. I'm good, but I'm not that good. I do need you. So we'll talk again soon. Take care. Cheers.